What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is HID holding it down with Holden. Glad to have you guys here. We're going to do a quick run through on trying to build a distributing center, distributing department, whatever you want to call it, however you name it. I enjoy playing Farm Sim 22, but I also enjoy kind of cutting up as far as like driving trucks on here. I know everybody right now is into construction, or everybody's into doing like a wrecker service, stuff like that. One thing that I've seen around is building a big distribution center, which I've built. We're going to look over the one that I've built. I've bought a piece of land that we're going to try to duplicate some of the basically the same exact thing on this map. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it, and subscribe to the channel as well. If you would enjoy it, I would greatly appreciate it. So let's jump right into it. First things first, in the game here, we're going to go down to where the distributing center that we already built is, and this is it. I'm going to try not to talk too much. This video is not going to be edited, so if there's any point in time that you want to kind of fast forward and look at something else, feel free to do that, because again, I'm not doing video editing. I'm literally going to record this video, and that's going to be it. I'm going to kind of move some stuff around here. I know in the past I've had it in different spots to kind of make it easier for everybody to see almost everything. So you probably just saw me move that real time on the screen, but yeah, no big deal. So anyways, here is the facility that we've already built here, and it's kind of nighttime. Here's the gate coming in. Close it, open it, however you want. Just turn either way. This way, I have it as what I call a dry dock side. So all of the trucks that are on this side are not refrigerated units. Doesn't matter. You can do this however you guys want to. I also put another, it's another warehouse facility that's back here as well. All of which that are useful, all of which that are functionable, which is awesome. That's one of the biggest things to me, is not just driving up to a warehouse that you can't go inside of or that you can't do anything with. So functionality is a big part to me. And then on this side, I just did like a refrigerated side, even though it actually doesn't make a difference, but you can see all of these trailers are all refrigerated units. So this is just kind of what I did. And again, we're just going to kind of duplicate this. Again, at any point that you're watching this, if you want to feel free to fast forward through, because I'm not going to speed this video up. I'm not doing editing. It's all going to be during the time that we do it here. So this is the inside of this warehouse. This has got, it's just a random room. You know, you could use this as like a cool fridge, I guess you could say, but all docks are usable. So I'm going to give you an example here with one of the trucks that I know that is loaded here. So you literally open the door yourself. You know, I've got trucks that are already backed up to it, but one of the neat things on this one is you can actually make this dock level off. So now it's going to jack the trailer up a little bit, which is the only thing I don't like about it. There are some trailers that it doesn't do it for, but you can see now you can take the forklift and drive it directly onto the trailer with zero issues. So I'll kind of give you an example of that real quick, just so that way you can see all of this is functionable, all of it's usable, all of it's easy, and you can literally do exactly how it's done in real life, which is that's the biggest thing to me. I know somebody said that there is a pallet functionality that you're going to have to deal with, such as, I guess supposedly the game won't let you do but so many pallets. I haven't ran into that, but if you do, you know, limit yourself to that. But I do think that this can be a really fun game to play, especially on multiplayer. Once I get everything kind of set up, I'll probably open it up to that. But what I want to do is kind of maybe get this warehouse somewhat full, not 100%, but get it kind of full to where, you know, people can just start playing the game. You can literally just pull up and offload stuff. I just wanted to show you this. This is a ramp to bring the forklifts in, but it's also, if you have stuff that you have to drop out here and just pick up and bring in, you can do that as well. On this warehouse, all of this is in the in Mod Hub. I did find all of this, so I will link everything that I can remember to link into it. There's the switch for the lights there. You can go in and out. I will link these placeables here, because that is the only thing that's slightly different than this. All of these other lines that are painted out in the center, they are all I had to hand paint all of these, which is it's actually extremely frustrating because a lot of times these lines don't want to stay straight. And you'll see that as we go. Again, this is another area back here. I'll kind of make it a little quicker doing this. This is a placeable kind of a parking spot. You cannot place, you can't put this trailer on there without you driving it. Like, this van is not something I can actually drive in game. Some of these cars that I've placed are cars that are just placed in game. They're not actually drivable. But you can't place a placeable car on these kind of parking spots. The ones that I've created here, yes, you can do that for any of them. But anyways, we're gonna check out another piece of land and essentially build this exact same thing that we have going here. I have already bought this land here to do it on, but when I look at this, how long it is, I may just do it directly beside it. Mainly just because I think having that area will actually be a little better, like open area to be able to do it on. So we're actually going to go in and we're going to buy these two pieces, and I know it's going to seem kind of funny to do them side by side, but we're going to do them side by side. What I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to pause this video so I can go to sleep, because this is much easier to do when it's daylight out. So, all right, so we're back here. You can see I'm now daylight, but these are the two areas that we're going to deal with. Again, I said I would talk the least amount that I could, but I think sometimes talking makes it a little bit easier. So in the sheds, this one should be basically the very last one in this. Actually, I've added a few more since then. But this is it, the pallet warehouse. Again, I will look and see if I can figure out exactly where all of these mods are and the names of them. But one thing that I will say that you want to do is you want to leave yourself room when you're doing this, because one side, has just a few spots as far as trucking spots. There's only like 3 bays, and the other side actually has, I think, 6. So just something to kind of be aware of as you're doing this. And I'm going to try to keep it basically the same, because I think it's just easier that way. And I'll even try to keep it the same as far as oriented. So first thing we're going to do here is, boom, just place this here. Now, very simply, since we've done that, let's go over and we're just going to make everything that there is, asphalt around it. Just make it the biggest size that you can and just make a concrete jungle out of it. Now, I left grass, which I could do on this too. Left grass along the edge just because I think it looks a little bit better having grass inside of it. But again, this is to your discretion as far as how you want to do it. I'll make all this. I'll just clean all this up in this game, so that way at least you see exactly how it's done. Then you can do it however you want. If you don't own the land, obviously it's not going to let you do anything with it. So. And you'll see I cut this off because, again, that angle just, really didn't serve much of a purpose to me. So let's see if I can't make this a little straighter. These lines are not going to be perfectly straight, but I have a little bit of a OCD tendency with some of this, so I try to keep everything about as straight as I can, but sometimes can't help it. All right, so everything's concrete now. The reason I say that you want to place your building first is just because placing your building, I hope I didn't paint over that. Okay, you can't. I don't know why they're not showing up on this side. Usually they are. If they're not, I'll see if I can paint them in. That is kind of strange though, because usually it shows them on both sides, unless for whatever reason the terrain isn't how it should be there. Let's go look. Okay, it shows them on this side. Yeah, that's a little bit strange. I'm not sure why it's I'm not really sure why it's not showing on this side. It's gonna sound kind of silly, but we'll get rid of it and try it again because I want it to look the way that it's supposed to. All right, so back to it here. There they are. Okay, now the lines are showing up. Guess it is something with the terrain there. All right, well, let me try this real quick. Just while, we're in this. Maybe it's just not very level. So I'm gonna try to get it as level as I can. Most of the time, I don't think you're gonna have to do this, but you might have to, you know, for that purpose that I just saw there with things for whatever reason not being level. So let's just see if that fixed it. If it didn't, you know, you might just have to toy with it. You might have to turn it around and see if you can get it to work in one spot. Yeah, so leveling it seemed to work pretty good there. That just may be something that you encounter that you may have to check on. All right, so there we go. That's the bulk of it. Is obviously just getting that planted. Not very difficult from there. Let's see. Let's create an entrance, kind of like I did on that side. I'm gonna leave that open for now. Let's create an entrance on this other side over here, though. Say we'll do it right here next to the road. I hate it because of this. You can't get rid of the fencing that's already there. So most of the time I try to do it in an area that is open. So let's see. I know I did it on this side on here. Let's do it on this side for over here. So what I did, and I've added so much since then that it's going to be kind of difficult to find these exact ones now, but this is the sliding fence is actually slightly different. So just go all the way over till you get to this, because I like the sliding gate. You can kind of, you know, change around with it and do something differently, whatever it is that you feel like doing. But let's see, is this actually the gate that I made? Yeah, okay, so that's the sliding gate, good. So what I'm gonna do, right now I'm just gonna make a quick perimeter basically around the entire thing. This is gonna be slightly different, obviously, because it has this little roundabout in it, but you can, again, do it however you like, whatever looks best to you, whatever you like best. And again, I'm just gonna square it off based on my other fence that's already here, which is kind of cheating, but you get the point. You would do that. So now, as kind of a speeded up process, I'm just gonna kind of pick the middle here, go in, and let's just get rid of a few of these. This I actually had a little bit of difficulty with getting to delete last time for some reason. Obviously, you want a pretty wide, you know, area to be able to turn into. And it may look like I'm getting rid of a lot, but I want to make this kind of turn in a little bit as well. So that's pretty good considering how close it is to this. Now, go back down to our fencing that we're doing here. Just going to do a short little, let's just do a short little 2-row run right there. Now let's put in this, I want a pretty large gate that's bricked here. So the way that it has it lined up right there means that where that is where it's going to slide to. So, and you can do that, everybody can do this differently, obviously, but I'm trying to get it lined up to where the slide piece of the gate kind of matches and meets that. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Get it however you want it. Again, let's do the same thing. Let's just do a short little 2-run right here. Terrain too steep, okay. Never had that issue before. Again, it just takes kind of messing with it. You might have to kind of level some stuff off. I did not have this issue at all when I was dealing with this the last go around. So, you know, you might just have to kind of toy with some stuff until it works the way that you want it to. I go all the way back over to our gate. All right, so obviously I'm going to have to cheat this because it wants to tell me that the terrain is too steep. I know that it's not, but that's what it's telling me, so. This part's probably the tougher part, just trying to eyeball kind of where it goes. And somebody could probably tell me, hey, you don't have to do it that difficult. You can actually find an easier way to do it. And that would be great. You know, maybe you can. So this isn't going to be perfect, as I said. That's a little not perfect for me. All right. And it's dealing with a lot of terrain issues over here that I did not deal with on that other side. But you can kind of set this however you want. I just do this and then give yourself, put up a couple of little signs to be able to kind of tell you what's in or out or whatever the name of your distributing company is. You can kind of do that however you guys want to. But let's see. So now, and it's pretty simple. You just do kind of however you want. So for me, I just kind of did a little bit of a nice grassy kind of an entrance on that side there. Again, I don't know how to get rid of the fencing that's already here, so I know that kind of sucks that it's there. You can find a spot that it doesn't have, you know, this fencing in it like I kind of did on that other side over there. Again, this is all just preference. Obviously, you can put any kind of planting or whatever you want in here. You may not want this. You may want to use this as just strictly parking area here. And again, all of this is just whatever preference that you have in game. So we've got the main thing, which is this set. Now, I would advise as far as parking goes for some of the parking that I've done on the other one in here, I would advise kind of doing it before you start putting trucks and stuff on here, because once you start putting vehicles here, you can't paint, you can't do any of the, really just any of the stuff that you're going to want to do in the meantime. So everything I think is pretty much under decorations for all of this moving forward. So we'll just kind of want to scoot over to it. We're going to go over to these pre-made parking areas, and you can actually, if you wanted to do this, you could use this without ever having to use anything else, which, I mean, again, all of it's just preference, whatever you like best. You just kind of have to work with it to get it in a place that you like it. You're not going to be able to get it perfectly up against that like I was hoping to when I did it. But you just kind of get it to a pretty close place that you like. Okay, that looks pretty good. For me, on the other side, I only was out on this smaller section just to the side of this. I did a smaller area. Again, I was dealing with a much tighter curve around the building. So I didn't even do this size, because this size is pretty much perfect size, but I was dealing with tightness coming around here, so I just kind of did a smaller little parking spot. Plus there's nothing on the left side, which I liked, and that gives you a couple of spots that are now set up around this. Now let's go to that secondary building that you see that I have out back of the other. Is just this medium-sized warehouse. Spin it around real quick. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Most of the time it's going to be pretty difficult to make it perfect. But there's that. Now we go back down to decoration to kind of get some of these others. I actually drew the spots that were here, but on this side I was able to actually do a larger parking for the semi parking, because it does actually have those pre-made long parking spots for the semis as well. I just don't like them as far as out in the center, because to me it didn't look as good, because it comes with all of this extra. Like I said, that's with all of that. You don't want in the middle of your map, so you're going to want to have to, you're not going to want to have to, but you're going to want to paint it as opposed to the other. And generally that's supposed to have lines in it. Yeah, when you zoom in, the lines will show up, but at first, most of the time, those lines actually don't show up. That's a little bigger than what I would want. Actually, that would have actually been perfect size over here. So you're going to see me click about 46 things trying to get this thing right. So just bear with me. This one could end up being the one that I like more than, the one that I've already built. And then I end up, messing with this one more than I do the one that I've already built. So never know, this could end up being my favorite one of them as well. So anyway, let's go with that bigger lot. That one's only 4. Okay, this one's like 6. So it's not as far back as I would want that one to be, but it is at least in there. That was not as bad. Again, when you zoom in, the lines will show up on these, but I like it like that on that one because I do a different one on this other side. This is actually going to lend itself to be able to do quite a bit on this side as far as parking goes. So we'll kind of keep that in mind as we go through the rest of this. Because again, on the one that I've already built, I didn't have all of this room on the side. Whereas on this side, I can probably create quite a bit of parking space as this direction. This will be just kind of coming straight into it here. But so far, you can kind of see how we're doing. I ended up creating a back gate to be able to go through as well. But now what you want to do, same thing, back into that decoration file. This is one of the most difficult ones just because it's not very easy keeping the line straight. I have a lot more room on this side than we did on the other one that I've already built. But this is what you see, white lines that is very small, which you don't really want to deal with. You just want to go ahead and get the longest one that you can use. And you see, that's as long as it is. So you have to, I've measured it out to being about 5, just about 5 widths or 5 lengths long to kind of get that happy spot as far as the length down for these. But yeah, just start placing them. See, it starts to kind of get off a little bit, and that's when it gets fun, because they don't end up perfectly straight. And occasionally you'll get it to where when you sit one down right behind it, the one behind it disappears for whatever reason. And if it does that, just go back in and put another one over it. Don't know why it happens, but it has happened. I'm just kind of, in my mind, spacing these out about as close as I think they would be. Could be completely wrong with it. They could need to be much closer, maybe a little bit further apart. I think that they're probably actually spaced out more than what you would need. But it seems like I can do it a little bit quicker when I come from this way. I said that and then I got off. There may be a mod that I completely missed on this that makes this a lot easier. Again, if you don't want to have to go through the tediousness of this, you just want to place the pre-made parking spaces that I did there in the back, you can do that too. Just as easy. And a little bit quicker. I don't know why it puts the dirt spot in between it. It just does. I do not believe that you can just paint over it. I think, I'm not sure of this either, but I would imagine if you go to painting over this thing with asphalt, then it's probably going to cover up what you've already painted, and then you're just going to have wasted your time doing this. Again, that's just kind of a rough draft of it, so to speak. And then I just kind of did the same thing, just making some parking spots over here on the side with this. That's why I didn't place, yeah, I don't know why it does that. Just randomly decides to disappear and then shows back up. That's why I didn't do a full pre-made parking spot over here, because I like to leave some parking for these. That's really annoying that it did an extra one there. Now, similarly, like on the edge over here, I made some spots. You could make them long ways. I'm not gonna spend too much time making a whole lot more off of that side. I'll make a few more like out here. It's just really tedious. You gotta have everything perfect to get it completely straight. And again, some of you guys can probably make this a lot straighter than I'm making it right here, and feel free to do that. Really, once you get to playing, you're not gonna pay too much attention to it. Dang, that's not straight at all. But that's just a few there. And then, you know, again, you can put a million more wherever you guys want to. I'm going to go in now and put some of these, I think they're actually this way. Let's see. This also kind of helps you keep up with spacing if you wanted to do it this way, to where you were able to see just how well you spaced them out. See, I didn't do a very good job spacing these out. So that's actually going to be a really tight spot right there. It's probably not going to fit a trailer. But it is what it is. Okay, I don't need them on this, but I've got them here, so same thing. And again, you can put, I mean, any kind of grasses that you want. If you want to create some kind of a really nice parking area with a, you know, some flowers, a little flower bed or what have you like that out here, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. This is just, again, kind of the gist of how I got everything put together over here. Really simple, easy. So let's see. We'll put a couple flags out here. It is 4th of July, so. way I did it with the sign is I just put, there's like a placeable sign that you can actually write on. I don't necessarily like it, but this will just be the farm. You know, this is just a pre-made, already made kind of sign. You can, again, you can get that other sign that I've created for the other one, and you just do it like a tag. That's the reason I really don't like how it's set up, but that kind of is what it is on that. And then on fencing, or not fencing, on lights, this is just a bunch of different colored lights. You know, you don't necessarily have to do those. What I did was these tall, really tall ones. I did these before I ever got all these colored ones in, because before it was just this one, a really large floodlight, and then I just angled it like this in towards it. It seems to light up really well. Again, this is kind of bare looking at the moment, but as you play with it more, you'll kind of see where you need lighting and where you don't. Then you can just kind of go from there as far as, hey, where do I need some more lights? Does this look good enough? Do I need any more lighting? No, everything looks good. You can go in and put, like on the other side, I put in some lights more centralized. So this is just going to go on the back side just because I don't have room. But you can see there, I've done a bunch of these lights where they're kind of facing in, just where I needed them there. But for the most part, I mean, you can see we've got some parking here, parking there. I could create a lot more spots there, but to kind of keep this video short and sweet and not too long, just because of how long it takes to draw out these lines. But you can see even in these, they're not perfect, but I did take a little bit more time trying to make these straighter. But you can do that in any way. But just kind of take a look around. I don't think I did anything really more special than that, other than planting trees around the edge, which again, you can do the same thing. It's all just literally everything that you do from this point on is all just depending on how you want to do it. So let's go back to our decorating, back to others. Actually, I think this would be under landscape, and we're going to do trees here. Yep. So for me, I think I did like some birch trees. Yeah, along that edge, you just come along in here and do like that. So like I was saying, with some of the placement of some of this other, like these cars, you can download this. Again, it's in the mod hub as well. Go in and you can actually find placeable objects as well as placeable cars. And I did this. I didn't want to do too many of these because, again, you cannot place these in those pre-made parking places. So I can place this wherever I want, but I cannot place it. Okay, I lied. Evidently, it will let me place it there. When I tried to do that in the past, it wouldn't let me place it there in the past. But, you know, you can come in here and just put these guys wherever you want them. Maybe I do have one in here, since it'll evidently let me do that now. When I tried it on the other side, for whatever reason, it didn't do that. That's cool that it will let me do it here. Maybe this is the one that it wouldn't let me. And I think it's just because it overlaps with that little grate. It won't just let you put it there where the grate is. So again, I'm just putting just some kind of random stuff around here. And you can do cars, trucks. I mean, as soon as it gets over to some of these, I put some of these here just as placement, so everything's not bare. I really don't think that you can move these around necessarily, so I don't want to put them in a spot that I can't move them, because again, I don't think that there's a lot that you can do. Again, I think you could make a couple of cool parking spots out here. Would be kind of fun, but I'm not going to take that time to put that many there. So we'll just put a few of those there. Let's get a car, maybe bring it in here. Maybe now that I got that, it will fit. Okay, evidently I just needed to zoom in there. So now you've got a few people working here. at this point, it all just kind of becomes whatever you want to make it. I don't know that there, yeah, I don't think there's any kind of semis or anything like that. So all I did with this, which wouldn't make sense here, but you know, you would just create that. I did that on the other side because it was just wide open there. But I mean, that's it as far as all of this goes. You can put a bunch of other stuff out however you feel like. But then from this point on, I mean, it's just going in, buying trucks. To keep it simple, most of the time I just go to this Mack Anthem 6x4, and then you just make it whatever size truck you want. I usually amp them up just because you can. I keep it simple, make everything white. All right, so that's 6 trucks. And then the same thing, you go into your trailers. And this is the same thing on the back end of this. It's just a mod for the logistics. So this just has auto load. Then it's got the refrigeration units on it. If you wanted to use the reefer unit, you know, keeping it simple, just make everything standard. I don't really want to change anything on this. You can change it and put designs on these. I wasn't necessarily worried about doing any of that. I mean, you can make this lizard storage if you wanted to and do it like that. I wasn't quite as worried about that. Keeping the color white. I do change the rim just because it kind of looks a little bit silly white. So aluminum, and then I think that's 6. And it's just simple. Now you just have the busy work. The busy work is just moving all the trucks and trailers into spots. So I'll pause the video real quick so that way you guys don't have to watch this boringness. And then we'll come back when I kind of have some placed. All right, so we're coming back into it here. I've added a few more parking spaces while I had everything paused, so that way, again, you guys didn't have to see it. I added a couple other things that I think are kind of neat that would be fun. One thing that I would recommend, looking at it now, something that you should do differently is I would not put my fence right next to the road. I would probably put it back where it was. You can still angle the fence in like I have for the actual entrance where the gates are. Again, you can use any other gate. You don't have to use this gate. I just like the look of this with the like with the brick columns and then the grassy kind of shrub between it. But the good thing about it being inset is it does give you just enough room to get in. But if that wasn't right there on the road, if it was kind of where the gate is and then came in, you'd have plenty of room to make this turn. So that would be one of my suggestions as far as that goes to do again. So that way you have plenty of room to be able to get in and you don't have to cut it close like this. So this is what we've got. Again, I added a few more spaces. My other recommendation would be if you have parking spots like there are here that are up against the building, I don't like putting parking spots out in front of it, because if you have somebody that's pulling in, wants to swing wide to back it in there, they don't have room if a bunch of trucks are parked here. That's why I put these spaces kind of off to the side like this. For example, if this guy was to have just pulled in and he needs to park or back up to this third bay that's right here, if I have a bunch of parking spots up here against the front, he can't get all the way up here to be able to back up to it. So I usually put those spots off to the back. Again, as you can see, the lines aren't perfectly straight. All of the other stuff isn't perfectly straight, but a couple of things that I added that I thought might be kind of neat. Here's a weigh station. So, and there's just some speed bumps here. That's not like a big deal or anything, but here's a weigh station. It is a true weigh station that actually, shows you your weight up there on the wall. Does it matter? Probably not. But I thought that might be like a neat thing to kind of add to it. You can see I've added a bunch of speed bumps to it. I didn't really add a lot of other parking spots, but this was something else that I decided to add to it. That little bushy area is not actually part of it. That's something I added. I could have shown that, but this is a truck like service bay is what I call it. Service bay or working on something. Only thing that it did really weird is it made the ground really funky right here, which I mean, I know this goes down in the ground, right there, as far as you can go down in here. But I'm not sure why it did it outside of here. Wasn't able to get that smoothed up, but this is something that's kind of neat. Again, this in the mod hub that you can add to it, and all of these, the thing that I love about it, they're all useful, and it's an actual office. Like you can go in, you know, turn the lights on and everything here, like it is. So if you had something that you actually had to work on, boom, I can come in here, and whatever's parked underneath here that needs working on, I can work on. So I thought that was a neat kind of addition to it. Again, that's in Mod Hub. Only thing I did here was I just made a square with some bushes in it, put some grass on the inside of it, put a tree, some plants, and then put a flag. So nothing major there. But that's really all I've done, with exception to going, buying all the trucks, parking the trucks where they are. So that's pretty much it. I just added another little loading dock thing over here. Again, all of this is in the Mod Hub. You can go and find all of this on console. That's where I found everything. But that's pretty much it. This is the lookout of what I built before, which is much tighter quarters, which is, again, the entrance being here. You know, you turn and you come back here to either this side of the facility, or you go to a whole nother loading dock over there, and then you come around to this side. A little bit of parking there, a little bit of parking here. But on this one, I've made it even more abundant as far as parking goes. Plenty of parking on this side for just empty trucks. You know, your normal bays, parking on this side, a weigh station. Again, I thought that might just be something kind of neat. I think one other thing that I'll probably do, which is why I left this the way it is probably make another entrance here that you can use. But I thought this was a neat addition, you know, not only having the distribution center here, but also the distribution center to have its own working truck shop, so to speak, or even working on the trailers if they need customization, or that part not really, but more just working on, you know, if something's wrong with one of them. Again, same parking here. Again, I don't put parking in front of where you're going to have to back up, because most of the time you need to get all the way here to be able to back up to that zone. So I try not to make it too tight to where you can't turn and get in here if there's trucks parked. I don't want to make it difficult for people to get in there. Again, you can make it as hard or as easy as you want. I kept all of this area open so that way you could back into it, put a couple of trailers up against here. The only thing that I haven't done is actually put any of the forklifts inside. One thing that you might want to do is this little kind of loading dock deal that I have here. You know, you might want to take this, buy the land that's right next to the shop, whatever map you're using, and take this and put it on the ground and load your forklifts up in one of these trailers, and then back up to this warehouse, actually open up the doors and everything and take your forklifts off that way. Or you can load them on a low boy, you know, low trailer with a semi as well, to get them all to the actual facility if it's far away from the shop. Luckily for me, the shop is right there. So I literally was able to just drive from there to here, which made it really quick and easy as far as doing this. But this is it. This is kind of the finished product. I mean, that was 45 minutes worth of me talking. I probably spent 15 minutes making some extra parking spots, adding this, you know, adding this in. So it's not hard. It just takes doing, and it takes a lot of patience when it comes to making these lines, again, because they're just tough to make straight. You can make this as big or as small as you want, but hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully it's enjoyable, because this is just one thing. I think I've seen a couple other people talk about it. It's kind of fun to have something like this where you can just drive a truck. Trucking is not part of the game. I don't think it necessarily will be. They have trucking simulators for that reason, but I like having it in this game. And there's been many a time that I've played the game and I was like, man, how cool would it be if I could actually load pallets into a truck and drive it somewhere? Having this facility that's like this, you literally drive the forklift onto the truck, take the pallets off, put them on the shelf that's inside of that warehouse, and they sit there. And if you have a bunch of friends that are playing with you, you know, you can have multiple drivers, you can have multiple guys that are just working in the warehouse, and you're taking it, you know, you could build another warehouse on the whole other side of the map and have a trucking game like that. However you guys want to do it. But again, if you guys enjoyed this video, I greatly appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the video. I enjoyed making it. You know, building stuff like this is fun to me. I enjoy playing the game as well. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe as well. Tell your friends about it. I greatly appreciate it. But we'll check back in with you guys later on HID Holding It Down with Holden.